From the book of Tobit, do to no one what you yourself dislike. Give to the hungry some of your bread, and to the naked some of your clothing. Seek counsel from every wise person. At all times bless the Lord God, and ask him to make all your paths straight, and to grant success to all your endeavors and plans. And so we pray, incline my heart according to your will, O God. Speed my steps along your path, according to your will. Amen. Good morning, Bridge Nation. Thanks for joining us. This is the Early Rise. I'm Ronnie Thwaites. Pearnel Child Sr. will join me a little later. We want to look at the news of the day. We want to wake you up with good feelings about your country, wherever you are in the world. Can you imagine what technology has done for us? Later in the program today, we're going to be talking with Debbie Allen from Qatar in the Middle East. Yeah. And her voice is going to sound, I'm pretty sure, as if she were next to us in the studios here on Kingsway in Kingston. Yeah, well, we want to make use of that. It's not just the pleasure, but also the utility of the connectivity that makes all the difference. We want to bind us together with love. Love for this rock, love for the prospects of our people, love for the hope that we can do better and combine to make that effort as we go forward in the future. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on this program from 5 o'clock in the morning Jamaica time until 7. Linked all over the world in your time zone. Remember, that's the reason why we come. But in Jamaica, it's a Bridge 99.13579. And you can also watch our live stream at www.thebridge99fm, wherever you are in the world. We will adjust the time of our broadcast. It's recording to make it available to you wherever you are. The important thing is the link. The important thing is the connectivity, as never before, using media to build a united Jamaica. Understanding that our borders are not confined to the shores of the land, but rather extend all over the world. Well, I always tell you what the weather is like in Jamaica. Plenty of you have red eye for the good weather that we're having. So it must be in the low 70s this morning in Kingston. That's nice, eh? The Meteorological Service forecasts that the morning will be partly cloudy, island-wide, and in the afternoon, isolated showers and thunderstorms are expected across southern parishes and hilly areas. Otherwise, it'll be partly cloudy. So there you are. That's where we are today. Very concerned, because we look outwards always as we look inwards about the unfolding affairs in our respected large northern nation neighbor, the United States. Listen to President Biden and Vice President Harris yesterday on voting rights. Really concerned that in what was historically the citadel of democracy, that there should be so many efforts to erode that democracy now, requiring this impasse between those who say that restricting the voting rights of some is to avoid corruption, and others see it as a downright attack against the universal franchise. I'm in the latter group, you know. Yeah, no questions asked. Open the prospects of voting as widely as possible in order to combat the apathy, in order to increase the participation, in order to enhance the buy-in of persons all over to make sure that we have a consensual government. The days are past when there's some oligarchy of state or church or anyone who's going to decide our future. There are people in Jamaica who'd love to see it go on, so you know. Yeah, they believe that they have the only answer. They believe that they have the best situation. I don't think so. We are looking at what is the will of the people. Let me tell you about the headlines this morning. Well, the Gleaner really can't believe that I'm seeing more of this. There's a fraud alarm at, guess where? The Education Ministry. Hello, listen now. Education and its management and guidance is so critical to any hope for the future of individuals and of the nation. We can't afford this. The Auditor General of Jamaica is saying, look here, there are many elements of your management, of your responsibilities that aren't working out, and you're not doing your bank reconciliations, for example, in a timely manner, and you're opening the door to fraud. It does no good when a journalist of the high pedigree and honesty of Edmund Campbell is able to headline this thing, fraud alarm. Education Ministry under fire as report cites millions at risk in accountability breakdown. Poor minister, she has such a hard job, eh? Yeah. But that's a systemic problem. You have to deal with that, eh? So we're not happy with that one at all. The Prime Minister yesterday indicates that there's going to be, well, he didn't call it this way, but a vaccine mandate for people in the public service. He says that people who work in the public sector are going to have to get vaccinated or get tested regularly, right? I agree with him, but I suspect there's going to be a massive blowback. So why? Is it justified? Is it a suppression of freedom? Is it a concern that needs to be given further credit? Or are people just being narrow and selfish and not doing what they need to do to love their neighbor as themselves? That's a topic for our discussion this morning. It's a topic for your reflection, wherever you are, whatever your position is, you know. Going back to the United States for a minute. Oh, Lord, have you heard the onslaught, the threats, the death threats for Dr. Fauci? Dr. Fauci is a renowned scientist. Even Mr. Trump had to listen to him until him kind of cut him off when he told him that the bleach really wouldn't work as a cure to COVID. Remember that idiocy? Yeah. Fauci has been so moderate but so persistent in his advice to us regarding health during this coronavirus situation. And there are those people, particularly led by a man named Senator Rand Paul, yes, who is, well, I call him a proto-fascist. Who's attacking Fauci. And as Fauci himself says, when somebody at his level does that, and this is a message to all of our leaders, when you bust your mouth and talk things where you are irresponsible, it unleashes who Dr. Fauci calls the crazies in the society, who listen to you, believe you. So that if one guy decides him going put one gun and roll up a bullet in him car and drive from California to Washington to do what? Kill Fauci. Yeah? So you're not directly responsible, but you're damn well indirectly responsible. Yeah? For that. So you have to hold carefully what you say and speak responsibly. That's the key thing. And then what you find out too is that this Mr. Paul, who is going under the effort that he's playing to the conspiratorial tendencies of many in the United States, regretful and quixotic those are. And he's collecting money. Every time he puts out something against Fauci, he says, please donate to me. Whoa. Really and truly. The country funny, you know. But I want to make sure, you see, that we don't follow that folly. Yes? Okay. Now, that is, I want to be very careful about what I say, but I'm taking it back. Those who are being put in charge of constitutional reform in this country, make sure their heart is right and their soul is in the good place. Because if they are being put there to take away, by changing the Constitution, some of the rights in the that we are given in the Charter of Rights and in the Constitution generally, yes, then that is a worse move, and it will be rejected and it will be fought against. So what is your qualification, your criterion for being put with any influence on constitutional reform, please? Yes? There are some in the government who have spoken about taking away people's rights in order to achieve this or that solution, as they see it, to crime, to various other elements of indiscipline, as they see it. That is a wrong approach. You are there to defend the rights and to extend them and to protect people from the abuse of those by whomever, and particularly by the state. Hello, Magna Carta was many, many hundreds of years ago, and we rate it the concordat between the nobles and the king, because there were those equivalent to government today who thought that they had the right to determine the deposit of rights to everybody else. Who would be free, who would stay alive, who would go to jail, who would stay yard. No. Neither the Pope, nor the Emperor, nor the Prime Minister, nor the Chief of Staff, nor the police chief have that right outside of the Constitution of the people. So don't bother think you're going to take away the checks and balances, for example, for whether it is the declaration of a state of emergency or any of the other restrictions to rights in this country. Let's get that quite clear. I see a tendency I don't like. Yeah? And it goes, I'm basing that on what people have said, how they have comported themselves, what arguments they have made in and out of court. Okay, so let's be clear. Some people will be saying, as I make that point, about the vaccine mandate, that is an incursion on people's rights. Yeah, but you see, the Charter of Rights makes it very clearly, such as is, you shall make no law such as to restrict people's rights unless there is a clear emergency. Okay? And in this case, the health emergency is undoubtedly clear. Yes? The suppression of crime is not of the same order and you cannot use the same argument, principally because the measures you wish to introduce have not worked. You can say that it has worked 100 times. It doesn't change the situation. Murders are out of proportion last year as this year, despite all of the efforts. So, let us be quite clear, let us be calm, and let us be reasoned, and let us be principled, not expedient. Yes. But the rights of the citizen in this country do not depend upon the whim and pleasure of any politician or any policeman, you see? There's something inherent in our humanity, whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whatever your race, your religion, etc. So we defend constitutional rights on this program, okay? We defend discipline that places people in a frame of mind and in a pattern of behavior that is going to yield personal fulfillment and national flourishing. And we're going to watch very carefully. We're in business with other elements in the media, though we think that their cooperation will be forthcoming. But let's be very clear, there's no special interest that's going to take over that. Right now, we have to get the public service working fully. It's not working efficiently now because people are calling in sick. Maybe they're genuinely sick. People are wanting to work at home and they can't really do the task there. I can tell you, as one engaged in commercial life as well as in public life, right now the public service is limping. You see, yesterday where Minister Clark has to come with another addition to the budget to be able to pay the public servants. What is it? The little extra that they've been granted. Okay, so there's if you're getting more, even if it is inadequate, there's greater accountability and responsibility. Yes, and therefore we want to see the public service get back to normal and better than the normal that it was pre-COVID. And therefore, the requirement that people who choose not to be vaccinated and to place themselves and to place others with whom they work in close proximity in a vulnerable situation, right, simply have to recognize that that cannot be allowed. And therefore you either test and prove that you are not vulnerable, or you go and get the vaccination. Or frankly, you can't be there. And if you can't be there, you can't have a job there. Maybe you can go another place where you're by yourself or where people don't have this concern. Mm-hmm. But when this statement is made, if you get it is if you get sick, you are on your own. It's your responsibility. That's not quite true. But people have to take some responsibility when they have refused to adopt measures that are likely to assist them in the event that they get sick or to prevent them from getting sick in the first instance. So let's talk this through on the early rise this morning. The Medical Association of Jamaica is saying that, hey, if health workers test positive, you can't bring them back here. You have to make them quarantine, and we have to make them wear special protocols, special masks, and we go from there. I'm worried that all of this is slowing up responses for the production of services and the recalibration of the economy, And the World Bank has said that the global economy faces a bleak outlook amid new threats from the novel coronavirus variants and a rise in inflation, debt, and income inequality. Woy oy. What did DJ say oddly? Woy oy. That could endanger the recovery in emerging and developing economies. That's one of us, We are emerging and developing. That's how they style us. That's the warning from the World Bank. According to its latest Global Economic Prospects report, following a strong rebound in 2021, the global economy is entering a pronounced slowdown as aftershocks of the pandemic continue to weigh on growth. Yesterday, after the early rise, I traveled to Hanover in the west of Jamaica through Ocherias, through the tourist corridor into Montego Bay, the resilient corridor. Didn't go as far as Negril, but we never seen a tourist. Yeah? Now, somewhere there, 1 and 2, but this worries me because we have been positing a dramatic return to viability of the tourist industry. We commend those who have been doing everything that they can to encourage this. But then the United States is telling, the government is telling their people mustn't come to countries where have plenty of COVID. That includes us, So do not let us fool ourselves. The diversification of the economy, the use of those thousands and thousands of hectares and acres of land stretching from just outside Kingston right across the country. Never even go to the south coast where there's more. Yeah, that is essential in order for that diversification, that recovery. Bird can't fly upon one wing, and we've been trying to fly on the tourist wing. Don't want to tell me about mining either. That is not development. That is short-term expedience leading to toxic future. You can't yam something because you're hungry if it's going to kill you. Yeah? Take me on at that if you want. The bridge allows for responses, The WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782. And the studio line, we can talk voice to voice, man to man, woman to man, 876-676-4996. Okay. So we need to look and see how we are shaping up our economic recovery in the light of what the World Bank is saying. The World Bank says that global growth will slow to 4.1% this year from 5.5% in 2021 and 3.2% in 2023 as pent-up demand dissipates and as fiscal and monetary support is unwound across the world. Need to get Ralston Hammond once again to give us an update on the world economy and the local economy, because the key thing is that what the world economy is showing is very relevant to what our situation is here. So it means that many of us are going to have to live on the mickle and the muckle that we have now. The income increases that we need is not going to come to the majority of the people. It's going to come to the big man them. Yeah? And I want to raise this morning plain and straight, because while this is the dismal story that the statistics are giving, it's not Ronnie making them up, it's World Bank says so, and they are usually reliable. Okay? our minimum wage can't stand at 7,500 any longer. Yes, what you're doing is courting starvation and thievery and distress and bungle up and mash up relationship. You hear? We need a higher minimum wage now. We have to find ways to afford that because inequality is getting worse in this country. And more than that, you know, on a heart, feel for people who you want to say, Jamaica land we love are one. And then they must work hard, and yet them can't feed themselves on a picnic. And that makes sense. Where your morals? Where you go carry your money go? Well, how you going to expect to have lower crime? You think that in those circumstances, state of emergency are going to help you? With inflation at its highest rate since 2008, the slowdown in the second half of 2021 was already larger than the bank had expected in its June forecast due to the spread of the Omicron and Delta variants. Many emerging and developing economies are withdrawing policy support to contain inflationary pressures. In other words, they're not giving out any more money for people who need it to go shop. Yeah, remember the little $10,000 that we got. I don't mean to be dismissive when I say the little $10,000. I know it's a major effort that the Ministry of Finances had to find the money, but let me tell you, you know better than me what $10,000 can't carry you for too long. Yeah, just can't. The shop bill bigger than that, and don't want to talk about the light bill and the water bill or anything like that. You see, so. What the World Bank is saying, many emerging and developing economies are withdrawing policy support to contain inflationary pressures well before the recovery is complete. Well before the recovery is complete. The report said, adding that they also continue to struggle with additional challenges such as lower vaccination rates. Okay? Well, not happy with that at all. It's 26 minutes after 5 in Jamaica as we reach out on the Bridge 99 to Jamaicans and Jamaican lovers all over the world. We're saying please continue with the remittances. Try send a little more if you can, even though we know it's your hard time. Yeah, you will know to whom you must send it in order that it will be well and proper used. Yes. One of the things that I want to discuss with Chief Pearnel this morning is that Mrs. Williams, the Minister of Education, says yesterday in Parliament that 40%, 4 out of every 10 picnic will go to school. That is almost half, eh? Them not turn up for no lesson at all. Not only that them never come to the face-to-face, but them never sign up on the internet or the data plan or come pick up the lesson at school. No, nothing at all. Where are they? Now, she says that they're going to start the yard-to-yard movement to try and find the picnic. Well, I hope so. I hope they train the young people who they're asking to do that. It's an effort, and I don't scorn it. But at the same time, we need a national campaign on that. Yes? We need every leader. Yes? I'm going to put myself in that post, but me I said this morning, every leader, anyone who have any voice, have to say to parents, to diaspora members with the granny and the mommy abroad that try to earn something, where the daddy work in New Haven, Connecticut, or in Slowbucks, England. Yes? Encourage your picnic to go to school. Go back to school, link up somehow. Yes? You cannot be afraid eternally about the picnic catch COVID if he or she go to school. You cannot be. At some point, you have to say, okay, let us take other measures, but the child has to go back. Otherwise, you are inflicting upon that child a terminal disease. Terminal disease means a disease will kill you. That means stunted brain. That means over-limited underachievement where you can't get better from. So it's not a question of being healthy or going to school. We have to break down that equation, the absoluteness of that equation now, and make a difference. So I'm very worried. If you ask me what was the most worrying aspect of the news in JA yesterday, is that. Maybe we'll talk about it some more. We have EduFocus, do we, on the public eye later today. So we're going to talk to Mr. Troop about that one too. How we get the children back to school, back in contact. Yeah, that's a big one. Parents, I reach out to you this morning. children, ask your mommy, ask your granny, whoever in touch with you, your daddy. Hope it's him too. Yeah, send you back to school. No matter if you're not in a uniform, you know. If you have to wear the flip-flop, go to school because the shoes can't fit you. Go. Yes? Go anyway. Yes? If you have to beg the taxi man a free ride, no give him nothing. But get the free ride and go to school and tell guidance council you need the money. I don't know where it come from, but except the parents. But try anyway. Yeah. Ronnie. Time for the break. Soon come. This is The Bridge 99. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, that's Ron.
Yes. Well, we always just introduce you in that way, or it never fails. Well, so many things since yesterday that we need to catch up on.
Oh boy, so many. I have the first question for you.
Which one is that?
Does the government have any right? In other words, when you are elected and selected to head the country's governance, what right do you have to proceed without either the third estate, the fourth estate, saying no? You are saying, right, well, let me tell you what hurt me last night. I listened to the leader of the opposition. I don't know if you listened to him.
No,
I heard him.
I didn't hear.
Well, I would wish you could hear him.
What did he say?
And he put on an assault on the newly appointed Attorney General. That I think it's not only disrespectful, but uncalled for.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear him. What? Well, I don't think we want to. If it was uncomplimentary, we really don't want to repeat it here, do we?
No, I definitely wouldn't. But apart from
as to his
saying
competence, what I heard secondarily, I didn't hear Mark Golding speak, but what I heard him speak of or heard reported was that he pointed out that the Attorney General had no place in either House of Parliament, and that therefore was not accountable to the people.
No. I'm talking the new one.
Yes, the new one.
Yes.
And that is his position. Dr. Derek McCoy, who has been appointed Attorney General, is neither a member of the House nor of the Senate. Now, a question that arose when I heard that comment or recognized Dr. McCoy's position. Dr. McCoy is somebody I know, in the legal profession, is whether that is in fact a requirement.
Well, I have never looked at the
I don't think it's a
situation as to what he's doing, who he's doing it for, and whether if the Prime Minister or the Minister of Justice or the other legal people in Parliament.
I think you'd have to agree. Well, first of all, I wish to say this without being misinterpreted. The present government has suffered, and therefore the people have suffered for the absence of the best legal advice. You and I've said this. I don't know whether you have agreed, but certainly I have said that, and I could give instances. So what I would like to do is to encourage the new Attorney General to be able to step up on that. There is, however, though, Chief, tell me, you have an Attorney General, you have a Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, and you have a Minister of Justice.
Yes, and you have more lawyers in Parliament on both sides than anywhere else.
In terms of the executive,
yes,
there's no doubt the Prime Minister has a right to appoint all these people. No doubt. But it is certainly our right to question the necessity, the appropriateness of all of that. And the sense that many people have, rightly or wrongly, is that sounds cluttered and that what he's doing is making jobs for people.
Well, I was embarrassed when I listened. I don't know the new Attorney General.
Yeah.
And I thought they took about 3 minutes to put what is called, in my opinion, his qualifications.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know that make you less or more, but I'm sure that the more exposure you have intellectually, it should be better if you are.
Yes.
But I think Mark was disrespectful to him. And I think he need to look at what he has said. What he has said to about the politicians, it's expected. Maybe not, maybe so. I am concerned that when you are elected the majority in Parliament and you form the government, that you should have some right to proceed according to what you. But it does not seem so in this government. Everybody, some who never voted, will never vote. No. Some who never voted in, is trying to say that is the wrong way.
But sir, let's go behind that. Really, it's important. Because you are elected doesn't mean you can do whatever you want.
That mean what?
It doesn't mean you can do whatever you want.
No.
You are bound by the Constitution.
Hold on. Let's look at that point.
Right.
It does not mean that you can do whatever you want. It meant that you have to do what, in your opinion, appears in your statement that you are going to do, you're elected on, and that you are satisfied that it's in the people's interest.
No, sir.
And that's why that's why you have an opposition.
No, Pearnel.
That's why you have an opposition. Hold on a minute. That's why you have an opposition to examine what is done, right, in Parliament, and get up and say you disagree and what you agree to. And then you have both sides agree on a point which neither the opposition nor the government had put forward, but is discussed in Parliament and acceptable by the parliamentarians.
Even if I accepted that was the correct way, you know that doesn't take place. Parliament doesn't allow for that.
Well,
yes, it does not. It should, but
that is where we should be going.
It does not.
And don't look at the Jamaican Parliament. Look right across Canada, South Africa,
whatever,
Britain,
wherever.
Australia.
Take me on a world tour, if you will. But that does not happen in Jamaica's Parliament. Jamaica's Parliament is a one-sided affair that does what the Prime Minister wants it to do. Okay?
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You have been in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I don't know for your leader in the cabinet. Yeah. I have not been in the cabinet from Mr. Siaga, Mr. Shearer, all of it. They have come to cabinet. Yeah. Ministers have brought cabinet papers, statements to the cabinet, and many of us object to. Yes. And it has been adjusted there.
And in the final analysis.
Yes. And when it goes to Parliament, it has further discussion, and further discussion gives adjustment, sometimes from the opposition who expose it.
Limited, depending.
Very limited.
Very, very limited. But sir, being elected does not absolve you from acting at all times in accordance with the Constitution and laws of the country.
Certainly, you're right to that.
And two, it does not insulate you from the criticism of whether it is the third, fourth, or fifth estate or the ordinary public. And therefore, criticism is good. It is not always good. It can be unfair, and where it is unfair, just as you are doing this morning in your estimation, you're calling it out. But there is no free pass when you're in government, sir. You know that.
All right, let me agree with the part of what you make. No government knows everything. And when people are elected, people elect you to Parliament to make input to the best of your ability to do what is right for all the rest of us. You agree with that? So whether you're government or your opposition, we need to come to a point where we feel, we, the elected or the selected, that means the Senate or the bottom, should come to a point where we present to the rest of the nation, this is what we think.
Yeah, but
it don't happen that way.
No.
It don't happen on either side.
Well,
on either side. On either side.
That's why we come here, and to encourage a change in the system that would more likely achieve those ends. But when a prime minister, for example, makes his choices of appointments, yes, and he makes it's his own personal prerogative, yes, he must be open to criticism.
Listen, Ronnie, I am not opposed to criticism.
Okay.
What I am saying,
could have fooled me,
where we are now, the government, the people who have been elected, the majority, which is expected to be that body that makes and make the presentation, do the adjustment do the working together and make the
Yeah,
presentation.
but that's respectfully, this government is on its own frolic. It's not doing. It's certainly not taking into account what the opposition thinks.
Give me a point.
But absolutely.
Give me an example.
Well, the only exception I can give is with regard to the Zozos established in Central Kingston,
Yes.
where the opposition has been calling for that for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
And the government has finally agreed
Yes.
that this should be the case. Otherwise, in terms of appointments, in terms of the handling of sensitive issues of accounting and functioning in the ministries and departments, the government is doing exactly what it pleases.
No,
Look at the
that's-
front page of the papers today. Yes, where once again the Auditor General has to call on the Ministry of Education and say, watch it, you're probably losing millions of dollars.
Yes.
Due to, no, the government has to take responsibility for that. It's not their fault in the sense that somebody go and take out the money, but the government has to take responsibility. Yes, you have, there are so many instances.
You don't even have to push that.
All right.
Because it can't be that you are responsible for the good things and not the bad things.
Yeah.
All the bungle that is before you.
Yeah.
But I am saying
Yeah.
we are at a stage now
Right.
where we are saying to the government, you cannot proceed
Mm-hmm.
unless the executive outside of Parliament,
Mm-hmm.
which would be the third estate, the printed
Mm-hmm.
or the non-printed, right? Agree until no. Look at this simple one.
Mm-hmm.
You need a new cabinet. From where?
Mm-hmm.
You are saying that the Prime Minister selected, in his opinion, the best team that was elected. And you say you don't want none of that. He
No.
must go back to select the best team from what he did not consider to be the best team. And that's just rubbish.
Hold on. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
the ministers who were sworn in yesterday and they changed portfolios are going to exist. We'll all call them honorable and hope they behave that way. But there's no doubt where the power lies. The question is the appropriateness of the power. Now, let us turn to the good things. As you said, government must take responsibility for both good and bad. Yes, I want to support fully the statement, not yet clear, but still we understand the intention of the Prime Minister in saying that in the public service in Jamaica, workers in the public service must either get vaccinated or tested. No, that's an executive decision. That's a difficult decision, I acknowledge. The trade unions of whom you have had a long past with, we're not going to agree with that. They start to bleat already. But that it may not be popular, but that is a sensible decision.
You are, I would say, you are a good person for certain things. Let me ask you. No, because I am hurt when I understand that the government cannot do anything. That the others, some who never voted, never support the government.
That doesn't mean that they have no rights.
I am not suggesting that.
Yeah.
In other words, you haven't changed what I was going to say.
Okay.
They exhibit their right in such a way that the government has no right.
No.
I mean,
But that doesn't.
look at the change. Look at people are saying they disagree with the Prime Minister's approach to selecting a cabinet from the elected people. Okay? He must have selected the best in the first instance.
No. What?
From in his opinion,
In
you
his
think
opinion,
he would have?
sure. But we have a right to say we don't agree with you, sir.
I have no objection to
So
that.
what's the problem?
The problem is that you are now saying, put away those who you have been selected and select the best.
No.
From the,
Well, if we change the constitution to that effect, that would be, in my view, a good thing. I think when you and I have discussed other countries' constitutions, the issue of approval in Parliament
Yes.
for certain officers, etc. Fine. We have had it in the past where we have discussed how many increasing the number of members of the Senate who are not elected,
Yes.
who are available for cabinet selection.
that is correct.
Okay, so that's fine. But right now, yes, the Prime Minister has the power, and he has exercised that power.
But Ronnie, who gives him the power?
The Constitution of Jamaica
Who
does.
gives the Constitution the power to give him the power?
The people.
Okay. So that is exactly where I want to end my hate this morning,
Okay.
my objection this
Right.
morning. Because if the people gives you the right by electing you with the majority, you have certain responsibility. It does not prevent you from the people themselves criticizing you, or those who did not vote for you criticizing you, or those who voted for you criticizing you. And a criticism should be a guidance to what, in our opinion, is the best for all of us. You agree with that? Okay,
Yes.
thank God.
But that I don't know what you're complaining about, because people have it is exactly the exercise of that.
I would
critical
like you
function.
to ask somebody to rerun what, and I don't want to say your leader because I don't want to be partisan in here.
But you are
But the
always.
leader of the party that you work so hard for.
Yes.
Statement he made last night was just disrespectful
Yeah, well-
to colleagues.
Okay.
And disrespectful to a man who is highly qualified,
Yes.
has not yet even taken up the job,
Yes.
and he's deciding that the man is no good, the man is this, the man
Well,
is
no, be careful.
It's
because,
just disrespectful.
I
man.
hope you're quoting him correctly. I didn't see. All I heard was the aspect of the issue of whether the Attorney General ought to be a member of Parliament or not.
And listen, if he had taken that, I would be very happy to support, because
that was what was said.
we have a lot of
I
lawyers.
don't know what else was said.
We have a lot of lawyers in Parliament.
but let
and
me-
the point you made, that it would be good if the person is there, maybe even in the Senate, that he can be questioned from those who have been selected politically on behalf of the people at the parliamentary level, both Senate and in any issue. And I have no objection
But
to
the
that.
Prime Minister had a problem because maybe he didn't have the talent within the elected and selected members to appoint. I don't think he's right.
You're saying maybe, or you want to give him that at even one point.
I'll give him that. But
Okay, good.
except that there's one thing. There is a member of the Senate who has functioned as Attorney General in the JLP administration,
Yes.
who I think would have been the best choice. But I'm not the Prime Minister. Yes?
Yeah, and
that person is known for his balanced judgment, his eminence,
Yes.
and I'm surprised that he was not asked to fulfill that function. No, I know nothing more than that. But let's leave that. Let's go to the substantive thing, if we can, for a minute. The big contentious issue. There are what, over 100,000 people more in the public service. What is going to be the consequence? What is the rightness, Pearnel Charles, and what is the expected level of effectiveness of the Prime Minister's statement that, look, now, we have to live with COVID, we have to settle down, we have to avoid the disruption in the public service, and therefore you either get vaccinated or you get regularly tested at your own expense if you want to function.
the question was answered yesterday by the Observer.
Yes.
The question was answered
Tell me
yesterday by
again.
the Observer.
Remind us. They must get...
Until the two elected
Yes, okay,
leaders
got you.
from the majority of us, PNP and JLP, decide what government, because either could be elected by, and so, until one is waiting for one to do it so the other one can criticize, the other one is, we are not, and Ronnie, I may have taken years to come to that conclusion.
Yes, sir.
Right? I
respect you for that.
Well, you and I know that we have tried long time to establish a new approach. I won't say a new beginning, to the politics.
Okay, but then you see, this is my concern. I fully support what the Prime Minister has said.
Yes.
I haven't heard yet, but I'm hoping, I'm wondering what the opposition is going to say, and I'm hoping that there would have been collaboration between the two of them before the statement has been made.
That would be good. That would be best.
What stands in the way of that? It would protect the Prime Minister. It would be more effective as a health measure. Yes,
and none could exploit it for partisan reason.
Thank
but
you,
let's
sir.
go a little further. What is going to happen when the workers who have taken the vaccine say to the management of their company, I am not working with those who don't take it. I don't want to carry it home to my children.
Yes.
What is going to happen?
Well,
and the government is saying, it's your business to do it.
Yeah. So my view is that the persons who hold out and who will not test and who don't have a medical excuse, a valid medical excuse, yes, are making a choice about their job.
So you know what happened, Ronnie?
Yes.
Like I did many weeks ago.
Yes.
I've looked down the line with a trade union eye,
Yes.
and I have seen hellfire coming.
Well, this is
Both in the schools,
Yeah.
when you say every teacher who's going to teach my child
Yeah.
should be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Every child who is going to sit beside my child
Yeah.
should be vaccinated. If my child is not vaccinated, it should not be permitted to go and sit against your child who is vaccinated. And the teacher should not teach in a class where half is not vaccinated.
Yeah.
So what is the conclusion? It comes back to the hand of the government. But then the observer answered it yesterday.
Well, exactly. What amazes me is that the government bring down problem upon themselves and upon all of us by not engaging, as the observer said yesterday, or as a Chief Pearnel Charles, experienced trade unionist and quintessential politician, is advising. You cannot introduce something like a vaccine mandate, which I support. Let me always punctuate that.
Yes.
You cannot do it as a one-sided affair.
Ronnie, you don't have to seek my support on that.
So there you are.
It is automatic.
Well, look at that.
It's automatic.
Yeah, sure.
Because guess what? You are not. It is even
what you're doing.
even in the workplace.
Yes.
The unions
Yeah.
going to have to now tell me something.
Yeah,
The unions are going to tell me that which side are you going to support?
exactly.
Those workers who have taken the vaccine
Yeah.
or those who have not.
Personal
But
rights.
both of them. Ronnie, have you seen that the thousands of people who have died?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many thousand died in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That 90% of them never took the vaccine.
Of course, sir.
No, so what
So
could I use a word as unacceptable? What the hell are we talking about?
So this morning, we wish to support the position taken by the government, and we wish to hope that it would have been and still could be a joint position taken by the political and representation.
I want to hear you go a little further.
Leadership.
I want us, if the bridge don't fire us,
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
the two of you
yeah.
must now tell the nation
Yeah, they should have done that yesterday afternoon in Parliament.
Right.
What a change it
what
would be.
is the position
Right?
on this vaccine.
Yes.
We at this saying since 90% of the people who have died
Yes.
and are dying did not take it,
Yes.
right?
So-
And 90% of those who are alive
Yeah.
took it.
Yeah. Well, I wish it could. There you go. Strong views. That's what we do on the early rise on the Bridge 99 FM to the world. Soon come. Teach the youths them how to live. Later this morning on the early rise. Debbie Allen, Jamaican, been in Qatar in the Middle East for approximately 7 years as a teacher. Teach the youth how to live. Mr. Charles, that's in the topic I want to engage you on now, because yesterday evening also, Education Minister Fable Williams reported, I can imagine the distress she must have felt, that some 40% of the school children are not engaged, even though school is open, yes, in various modalities. Her estimate is that 40% either not in school or not connecting with the virtual education offered on many different platforms. If there is a national crisis, right now it's that, you know.
Did you say if?
Well,
Remove the if.
move if you're
There
correct.
is a national crisis, and I tell you better than that.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to see it until about 4 or 5 years down the line.
Yes.
Follow me?
Yes.
A child who was 15 years old is gone
Yeah.
because she was 17 or 18 when the thing,
Out school.
he's gone,
Out school.
right? And so you have everybody saying they're setting up private school. The fact is,
Uh-huh.
I think the greatest damage is what it has done to our children. I don't know who we can blame, if we can blame anybody. No. We all have to mourn that this thing came and allow our children to fall 3 or 4 years out of the school system.
Well, but then there's nobody to blame. What we need to do is to make sure that we take the appropriate remedial action, which is not going to be easy. Let's think. The 15-year-old that you speak of, you can't make her or him just come out and find their own fate because they don't have the tools to do so.
But they're 18.
Well, there you are, sir. But hello, if you want your state of emergency to bring back that 18 and say, watch you know, normally you have your own freedom to go your own way. But I'm saying you, unless you can show me that you have something constructive that you are doing, I want you to come into this program because you need it and I need it. Yes, for your benefit.
But then you have to make
I'll back you there. But then she goes further. Mrs. Williams says that she quotes the World Bank, I think, saying we need at least another $4 billion in order to mount a proper remedial program. I was hoping, Pearnel, that Minister Clark yesterday afternoon would have provided some money for that. We're paying back the debts owed by the Water Commission. You've been in charge. You know what that situation. Water is life, but nothing in there for remedial education.
Well, hold on. It is impossible for something not to be around for remedial education. It has not yet been assessed, you know.
No.
When you get a chance to open the school within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you are going to see that even those who you gave tablets, some don't know still how to turn it on. Some turn it on at the highest level that the person who created tablet cannot read. Right? Yes. I mean, what they have used it for.
Yes, sir.
You wonder how our kids are so bright.
You see?
And yet, mathematics as we know it, English as we know it, history as we know it, the things that makes you a man or a woman to enter the world in the future, none of that was exhibited by getting the tablet.
So therefore, let's go back to the Observer editorial yesterday again. People who didn't listen to us yesterday, Observer editorial say, basically the way forward for this country is for the two political parties, leaders, to get together and work out common cause on a variety of issues. They were talking about one particular one yesterday. Okay, now if we're going to have a national reform of education, a catch-up, a remediation, yes, that is a whole heap of people, you know. That is 600,000 Jamaicans, just the children alone. Multiply that for the parents and the community members, the diaspora people who are supporting with billions of US dollars education in Jamaica. So we have a message to give them this morning, sir.
Ronnie,
you just said it.
You have to give me 2 weeks to even think about it, to come up with a sensible answer.
Right, sir.
Because the first one is emotional.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know from my experience as a trade unionist for the 40-odd years, from my experience as a parliamentarian for 20-odd years in the rural areas, I know those who can't go to school, who could not have gone to school, who was going only because they were getting a little support, right? And all of that is out of school.
Yeah.
Out of school.
Yeah.
And then you come to school and the teachers refuse to take the vaccine to teach those who have. So the parents say, I am not sending my children to school if the teacher don't take the vaccine, you know, because they're going to come home sick. Well, this is not child stuff. No. And let me tell you what bothers me last night. It wakes me up. This is what creates dictatorship.
Yeah.
This is what creates, listen, look here.
How you mean?
Forget that. We are going to do this thing.
Yes.
Or I am going to do this thing. And sometimes the eye is wrong.
Okay, couple of things, practical things though. In the circumstances you set out, let's try and be helpful. First of all, I would love to hear the Minister of Health and the Chief Medical Officer, respectable people.
Yes.
I would love to hear them speak about the capacity of Jamaica to get the vaccine for the children.
Yes.
Yes, because that is happening. The Cubans have done it, you know.
Yeah. But you said it the other day, you know. And my wife said, when she was my wife is a senior nurse, public health nurse.
Yes. Oh.
And she used to stand at the school door to make sure that the children are vaccinated. So why we can't send public health to school?
Sure.
Take class 1 and class 2 over there, vaccinate everybody.
Yes.
Because parents say no,
Yes.
teach us to know.
Yes.
What the hell are we talking about?
We-
Who dictates the right?
We're making it quite clear this
Who
morning.
dictate the right?
I don't like the word dictate, but
No, you don't like the word dictate
Not in
because
this
dictate
instance.
mean enforce
And well, no.
without consent.
But I'm in favor. No, I don't think you should hold down people, but you need to make it quite clear that this is a condition of your coming to school, this is a condition of your coming to work, and this is a national requirement. There's no that's how we would do it.
Now your man does ball out in the room. So Charles, you're a dictator, you know.
Let's ask a caller.
I'm not really a dictator, but I like to dictate what is right.
We have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm well enough.
Good.
Slightly amused sometimes with the crosstalk. Mind you guys drop off the bridge and splashing on the water, you know.
He said we don't drop off the bridge with the crosstalk between us.
No, man, we are strengthening the bridge, man.
So, Pearnel, not hearing me?
Pearnel is hearing you now.
Okay. Listen, this matter of education, right?
Yes.
Allocation was made
Yeah.
for the, what is probably, I might not be accurate, the sixth form.
Yes.
All right. My suggestion is
Yeah.
switch that allocation down to 2 years below that
Yeah.
to do the recapture or the reset or the rejig
Yes.
for the children who were absent or have been able to go to school. That would be better use of the funds.
I agree with you, sir.
You know, sir, you know,
Or split it in two.
No.
One or the other.
You'll need more than that even for the remediation, according to the World Bank. But it would be a good start if that $1 billion+ that has been spoken of for the sixth form should meet the emergency. Yes, of that Pearnel Charles has just said. Yes.
Fourth and fifth.
Well, actually, it needs it. The whole system needs it, but that is a critical one because those, if you don't catch them now,
they've gone through the
they're
road.
gone.
You have a double set out there, a sixth form that you're trying to turn around.
Yes. Well,
For the time being, anyway.
Yes.
At least this year or next year.
Mm-hmm.
Or by the end of the year, you should be able to work out something else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To make adequate provision. Or maybe by that time, if you're doing both. But
Well,
for this year,
the argument would be that of course that providing for the sixth form gives you that added opportunity to rescue those who have been out of school. I don't believe that is so. I believe that's a different process.
They're different process, and what I think he's saying, and what has enlightened me to think of,
Yes.
is that if we conclude that people from even at the fourth form level have lost so much, we have to start earlier than sixth form.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sir, I don't know if you're an attorney, maybe you do better, because you have come up with better advice than the attorney and the politician.
His name is Jigsaw.
Oh, you know that, sir? No, don't tell him. You're going to put puzzle on the end of it.
But listen. But
All right, I must encourage you guys. Don't get any fact because I'm not a good referee.
yeah, you're not the referee. But I want to ask you, what you're suggesting in respect of education is I don't wish to. I'm approving it, and I'm
Something
saying,
to consider.
well,
to
but
send into them
but
to
it's
consider.
simple.
Yes.
Yeah, how you can build a superstructure when you don't have a foundation, sir? How you can do that? There's
I
no,
have something further to say generally about education.
What
Because
is
the funds we're using should be better allocated to the early childhood. To get more.
Yes.
To get more.
Yes.
When you come to what you talk about
Yes.
foundation.
Well, you know
But
that's
that's more medium term, right? Based on the crisis right now.
right.
But like I say again, you heard, use the allocation
Yeah,
for fourth and fifth form now, so you don't get more. I leave that level
at least that.
with the gap.
Yes. Got your point. Thanks for your word.
Good. Take care.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're hoping to link with Debbie Allen, Jamaican in Qatar, early years teacher and coordinator of her department at the Pearling Season International School in Doha, Qatar, speaks to us about her experience there as an educator and the cultural differences and challenges faced as a black woman and a foreigner living in the Middle East. You can't miss it. This is the Early Rise on Bridge 99. Miss Debbie Allen, good afternoon and welcome home to Jamaica. Happy to have you.
Thank you so very much.
May I introduce you to the Honorable Pearnel Charles, who probably needs no introduction. He hosts the program with me, and we're so glad that one of us is far away in Doha, in Qatar. Debbie Allen, tell us how you reached there, what you're doing there, and just enthuse us this morning with your story.
And where in Jamaica are you from?
Lord,
I'm sure it may be sent on.
No, I'm not. I am actually not. I am from a little district in St. Andrew called Brandon Hill.
Yes.
Yes, I am from that area. I'm a teacher here. I have been teaching here for almost 7 years. I am the deputy head of primary for my school. So I actually got here. I was heading to Abu Dhabi, but that was taking a tad bit too long. And so I got through to Qatar, and I just love it here. I came with my boys. My older, he is in the United States, finishing his last year in college, and my younger is here with me now. So so I got here because I am a teacher.
Jamaica.
Greatest profession, because if you did not have teachers, you would not have any teacher.
But let me ask you, Jamaican teachers.
And I was a banker before, so I'm a banker turned teacher.
What?
So yes, because my father was a teacher.
Yes.
And he insisted that I needed to have a career because he didn't think that banking was a career per se. So thank God he helped me that decision.
Jamaican teachers are in demand, Debbie Allen, all over the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
There's so many of us here.
Why? What is it that encourages?
I think that we have really, really good teachers' colleges back in Jamaica. I'm a short with Thwaites, and I could say, we do have excellent teachers' colleges in Jamaica. And we work a little harder than most people. We're thorough. We are very, very detailed, and we have we just get it right. I think that's really what it is.
Yes.
Because all over this region, there are so many teachers in this region
from Jamaica
that are in fact Jamaican. Yes, they are. Kuwait has quite a few of us.
Look at that.
Bahrain has, Oman has.
Yes.
Kuwait, so there's quite a few of us all over. And Dubai and Abu Dhabi has probably the most of us, most teachers in the region.
How do you manage with the language?
I kind of learned a little Arabic when I came here, but the thing about it is that I'm at an international school. So at the international school, English is the first language in the school. Just like if you go out in public, most people here actually speak English, and even though it is a Arab country, because the thing about it is that 11% of us, 11% are locals, and everybody else, what is that, 89% expat. So we come here with English and we are dominating because the population is pretty much more so expat than anything else.
Okay, so the Gulf states are made up largely of expatriates.
Right, exactly.
Good, I've got that.
Right.
No, okay, but hold on, Miss Debbie. Two things. First of all, you teach little children.
Yes, I teach year one. But I'm also the deputy head, so that's my primary job. I'm the deputy head of primary. So I have a lot of administrative job roles, but I do have a few lessons that I actually teach in year one.
Speak to us about
English, science, and maths.
Yeah, speak to us about the importance of early childhood education, Debbie Allen. We don't.
That's what I studied in short. It is, I think, the end all and be all of education because it's the foundation stage.
You hear
so
this,
all
lady?
The skills,
the end and be all of
attitude,
education. Yes.
The attitude, the values, everything is from there. Because if you children's personalities are formed there, so it's important that whomever it is that you have dealing with little children, somebody who is passionate and is able to make little kids their best selves, because that's where all the personality comes up from. So I find that it's, and I think because it is sponges and the brain is the synapses of the brain just coming into being, they absorb a lot, and it's so important that they have the right people to give them the right tools, to actually define them
Yeah.
as human beings.
Let me ask you a leading question. In the states that you are working, are early childhood teachers paid the same as teachers at higher levels of the?
Yes, we're all paid the same.
Wow.
And for, this is my second school that I've worked in, and when I can tell you, I came as an early years teacher for because in Jamaica I did not teach a lot of primary level or early years. I actually worked a lot in Heart Trust. Most of my teaching career was at Heart Trust, but
Really?
I actually taught early childhood education at Heart Trust.
At Heart Trust.
So when I got here, it was a little challenging for me to deal with little children.
Yes.
And to think, when I got here, I guess based on my experience and what my resume said, I was better paid than most of my British counterparts.
Listen to that. Whoa.
Yeah.
We have a lesson to learn from that, Pearnel.
Yeah.
Because most of our early childhood teachers are, in fact, not paid by the state and receive a level of remuneration which is less than they would get even
No.
in other levels.
Not here.
And not
Because everybody's paid. Because like I said, my friends were in secondary.
Yeah.
And when they were talking to me about what their salaries were, I just had to keep my mouth very, very closed because my salary was
better than them. Well, but that highlights the importance of the early childhood sector that you have stated so clearly, and which we know.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have a further question for you, though. You're a black woman in a Middle East country.
Right.
What are some of the concerns? You're from a country that perhaps many people in Doha don't know. They don't know where
They actually do,
Really?
We are quite popular in Doha. People know because a couple of years ago we had the national, because there's Diamond League, so there's a Doha Diamond League.
Okay.
And Jamaica show up a lot at Diamond League, so
Right.
we're always at the Diamond League.
Yeah.
We had so people know us, people know who we are.
Yes.
I remember when we had
Bob Marley and
2019
Usain Bolt.
the World Games.
Yes.
When we had the World Games, I would be walking and people stopping you. You're Jamaican, because I'm wearing my Jamaican T-shirt. And so people actually know who we are. And I remember my first experience when I went to one ministry. I was trying to get some documents sorted, and it was a challenge getting the documents sorted. And the captain who was in charge took my papers and says, "Oh, you're Jamaican. I know." And he spoke of Bob Marley. They know Chris Gayle is very popular here because Chris Gayle is a big thing here,
Yes.
and as well as everybody knows Usain Bolt.
Okay.
So they tend to associate you, and
With them.
like even when you go on a flight, whether it's a Qatar Airway or you go on an Emirates flight,
Yeah.
you always hear Bob Marley. Bob Marley's music is everywhere.
Wow.
I went into a store once, I think it was a Foot Locker here, and I heard Vibes Cartel, Spice, everybody. I'm like, you didn't understand what is played. So,
Yes.
but the culture is, people love the culture, and they love the fact that we're so passionate about our culture.
Look at that.
So we are known.
Tell us this.
We
Look,
are-
we're learning something about ourselves that we ourselves don't know. But help me out.
Ronnie's a little jealous that none of the politicians
We're mentioned.
do they know anything about Marcus Garvey?
No.
Ronnie Thwaites?
No, Pearnel, Charles. No, we don't rate
There's
it.
a large United States expat community here, so
yeah.
they would know about Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
Because what I find though here, because we are like a black community, a lot of black community people tend to come together. So we have,
Associate.
pre-COVID, we had a Black Excellence Award that we were giving out to people who excelled
Right.
in particular areas as black people. So we do have a very vibrant black community here. One group is the Brothers and Sisters group. And like, as Jamaicans, whether you're British born or you're American born, the minute you get into this foreign place, you automatically, I'm Jamaican, everybody's like, you're Jamaican. I have quite a few Jamaicans who work here. Not everybody's I would say I'm a first generation Jamaican, and I'm just quite pleased to say I'm first generation. And they say, oh, we're second generation. But people just want to be identified as a Jamaican.
But
Do you have a Jamaican organization there?
We do have a Jamaican community that we do stuff together. So say, for example, when the World Games was coming to Jamaica, we were going out in the malls and we're showcasing Jamaica, things that are, we showcase our dances. So we did from a historical perspective, we, put a lot of things out there that people would not necessarily know to teach them a little more about Jamaica. So we do have a community, and it's a vibrant Jamaican community. We actually have a restaurant here called Jerk Shack, Ray's Jerk Shop.
Jerk Shop.
He's actually, so you can get your jerk food, and lots of Jamaicans here make her Jamaican Christmas cakes and all these things.
Really? That's good.
So definitely.
And I have so many other things. Tell me about your children, because the children, Jamaican children, coming into this new culture, how have they adjusted?
When my older came here, he came straight from Wolmer's and he went to 12th grade. So he was more settled. My younger was coming from Queen's Preparatory, and, he was he was young, and it was challenging for him, because when you walk into the airport and you see people are wearing thobes and abayas as opposed to you seeing traditional or regular clothes, it's kind of intimidating. And my second child had a really challenging time when he actually came here to settle. But as God would have it, he was with his older brother in the same school, so he was able to scaffold him and just to take him through. So, but he's quite fine now. He's quite fine, because my younger came at 9.
Yes.
He is 16 now, so he has been here for a minute. So but it's kind of challenging. But if you have support, definitely.
Sure. But what an intercultural experience, which will serve him well in the long run. But tell me now, the Jamaicans listening to us here and in Jamaica and abroad have this notion that in Arab countries, women are really given secondary roles and sometimes restricted in their movement, in their prospects. What has been your experience?
Definitely not that. Qatar is a very forward-thinking place. I can say that much, and they want to be able to tell the world that this is a place that you want to come. So as a result of that, they're very accommodating. I'm a practicing Christian, for example, and there is a religious complex.
Good.
I go to church every Friday because their weekend begins on Friday, Saturday. So I go to church every Friday. I'm actually at church.
Good.
I take, nothing, you're not, the only thing I would say is that out of respect for somebody else's culture, I would not necessarily wear what I'd wear in Jamaica. I'd want to wear shorts or whatever. It's an Arab country, their customs and their norms. I would not necessarily go outside dressing inappropriately but I don't have a challenge. I wear what I want to wear to work. As a matter of fact, I could tell you that when I was in Jamaica and I was working at Heart Trust, I was a lot more fabulously dressed going to work than I'm actually here.
Well, you could fool us when we see this picture and the hairdo, but hear me now. So women don't have to wear covered with the heads covered or wear
unless you're Muslim. I'm not even all Muslim, because the school I work is an international school, and there are lots of Muslims here, and they don't cover their hair. They don't need to.
Yeah,
you're a part of the diaspora.
Yes.
And you are in contact with the diaspora leaders. That mean you're also making contribution to areas in Jamaica like education and so forth.
Yes, there are meetings that we have been to. The only challenge that we have, to let you be a better contributor, it would be lovely to have our own embassy. So we had an embassy in Kuwait, and a lot of things that we were able to do and to have conversation, talk to our ambassador through the Kuwait embassy, but no, we do not. But we do have, we would love to be able to have something like that to make it a little more vibrant, and you're able to actually come back and contribute.
Sure.
I had a conversation with somebody, a producer at your radio station some time ago, and I was saying to her that I would love to be able to launch my own show. Just talk about my experience, talk about, if you want to get people from Jamaica to come and teach here, because it's good for you. Financially, it benefits you. And the experience is good, but in the end, you want to go back home, because home is home. You want to go back.
Sure.
But everybody wants to go back home. But if we want to be able to, it would be lovely to reach other people, to get people more involved.
We're going to make that. We're going to make that possible for you. Don't worry. That's what the bridge stands for, and we'll be certainly be. But it's good to hear you want that. That's
yes.
How do you get your news of Jamaica?
I go on YouTube sometimes. I have I read the Gleaner every day and the Observer.
Listen to that. There's a lady thousands of miles away, and she read the Gleaner and the Observer every day.
On the
online.
Online, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
online, right? But but if there's something that's something that is very, very important happening in Jamaica, my sisters are there, my mom is there.
Okay,
they say, "Oh, did you see this? You need to go read this now.
Sure.
Oh, this happened." So I'm very much in touch. Like I am, like my friends, my Jamaican friends here usually say, and which is a fact. We work here, but our home is Jamaica.
Look at
So
that.
we're going home.
What a
So we
marvelous
keep on saying,
example. That's the
we're going
spirit.
home. It's home.
That's the spirit of the
And
bridge.
somebody just shot me to say, you all are taking away all the Jamaicans to these countries
No,
and
no.
leave us here. And I say, they send back plenty money.
Well, not only that, but
Exactly. We do try as best as we can to contribute to,
Yes.
even in your own small community, you try to as best as you can to contribute to some development.
Sure.
Whether it's you're going to help somebody who goes to school
That's
or
the
you're going
spirit.
to,
Sure.
for some,
Yes,
and
yes.
this being away from Jamaica gives you that opportunity
Yeah.
to do a little more than you would be able to do back home.
And we-
But no, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm Jamaican. I bleed black, green, and gold, and
Yes.
I'm nothing more than Jamaican.
Before you go, tell us, are there racial tensions in the
They are
Arab
to
states?
some extent, but they are not against Black people. Do not necessarily experience that, or us from the Caribbean, because I've had conversations with people and they say, "Oh, not you guys." So it's more towards people who are directly from Africa, because I would go someplace and you'd be talking and they wouldn't recognize my accent. And based on the fact that they did not, they take a step back and they would ask you, "Where are you from?" That kind of thing.
Yes.
But I've had my first racial experience in terms of, I had a trainer and he's from Kenya, and somebody walked up to him and just say that, "When I give you an instruction, you follow." I'm Jamaican, I'm not accustomed to that kind of thing. So of course I'm going to play ignorant and deal with the situation with the quickness. And but my trainer actually had the experience before and he was like, "It's okay." And I said, "No, it's never okay."
Got you.
Let me-
Listen,
let
I
me-
love that,
let me congratulate
you. Hear that
you.
strength?
Let me congratulate you and other people in diaspora
Yes.
for holding the Jamaican flag high, recognizing yourself as Jamaicans and
Yes.
that others recognize you, and
Thank you so very
contributing
much, yes.
contributing to the development of Jamaica. But
Absolutely.
take time, take away all the little people because we need them here.
No, but Debbie Allen, let's have let's
You like the little patois, Debbie. You like the little patois.
Oh yes, I love it. You can imagine I was going through a mall once and my son said to me, "There's a Jamaican behind us," and I just stopped at the top of the escalator and we just start having this conversation in patois. It was the best thing. And I'd never seen her again.
No.
But at least you say, "Oh, there's a Jamaican."
Your
Just
spirit
like,
rise.
so we
Yeah.
came the other
You
escalator.
ball out, walk one a yard.
Oh my! But sometimes when you go through, even when you go through the airports here and they see your Jamaican passport, everybody, whether they get it correct or not, they're saying to you, "Walk on," because I guess everybody knows that.
One of them.
Listen, we're so happy to chat with you. We're so happy to look forward
So happy
to an
yes,
arrangement.
thank you so very much.
when
We're
we
happy.
can-
We're happy.
Nice to have a taste of home.
Yes.
We're happy to see that you're a happy person.
Yes, listen to that.
Yes, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Debbie Allen, Jamaican in Qatar for over 7 years, a primary school teacher, person who has been given responsibility. And when we come back from the break, Pearnel Charles, we have to discuss this ambivalence about sending people abroad. I heard that inherent in what your
I
questions
told you
were.
what us to do.
Yes.
I am prepared to pay a little more taxes to
Yes.
train
Yes.
Jamaicans
Yes.
because I went to Canada as minister and I saw what Mexico is
Yeah.
doing.
And look, listen to
I
this.
saw what the other
And
people
there
are
are no,
doing.
there are no boundaries, even in the Western world. Look, she gone
Listen,
elsewhere.
let me
Debbie
tell-
Allen, let's take the break and come back and talk
Yeah.
about that. Teacher, Jamaican, holding up the diaspora flag, the Jamaican flag in the diaspora, a model to the kind of thing. We're going to arrange that program where she can talk and others like her can talk. That's what the bridge is about. Soon come. Talking with Debbie Allen in Qatar, Jamaican there. I have a final question I have to ask you. Miss Debbie, what you eat in Qatar?
Rice and peas and chicken, curry goat oxtail, banana, fried plantain.
No, we can't take that out of you. But tell me now, what is the diet of the people there? Jamaicans would like to know. Is it?
Okay, there's lots of Arabic food, but because, like I said earlier, there is because the expat community is so big.
Yes.
You can find pretty much anything here.
Yes.
And I was saying to you earlier on that we have a Jamaican restaurant. You can find almost all McDonald's, the
Okay.
Burger King,
Yes.
Wendy's, whatever it is that we have in Jamaica is here. Whatever is in the United States is here.
It's here
There's
too.
Nando's, who's similar to Island Grill, so we like Nando's because it reminds us of home.
Yes.
And then there's the Arabic restaurants. You can go and have Arabic food. You know, Arabs are big on bread. They have what I like in there, the chapati and karak. That's it's like a national thing. Everybody have
Yes.
that, and I do that a lot. My son loves karak.
Yes.
And chapati, and you know, so we do but my children, I mean, they prefer to have Jamaican food.
Listen, you can't take that away from them. Then listen now, you said something that we have to question before we say goodbye, and that is there room for more Jamaican personnel of varying professions in the Gulf states
there
and
is. There's always
generally?
going to be. Yes, there is. I know, like for example, Qatar Airways, they're constantly hiring people. Because some kids that went to high school with my son,
Yes.
they are actually flight attendants in Qatar Airways. We teach. There's teaching here. There's somebody, I can't remember his name though, but he works at the museum. He works at the museum. He has a very good position at the museum.
Yes.
And we have different areas that lots of Jamaicans are taking part in and contributing to the development.
How did they express an interest? Is there how were you recruited, for example? Is there some recruitment center? Are there some?
There are recruitment centers, but I use one in Canada.
Yeah.
Somebody referred me, and I was contacted, and then I got through to come here. Usually the process is a very long process, but for whatever reason, I got through like in 10 days, and I was.
We're not surprised.
Yeah.
Listen, this has been both Pearnel and I found this an exciting interview. Thank you so much for lighting up.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Yes, and
you know what I will remember when I leave.
Yes.
I met some Jamaicans in Nigeria, and I said, "Where you from?" He said, "Jamaica." I said, "What's your favorite?" He said, "Peas and rice." I said, "You're not from Jamaica." I said, what is your thing? Rice and peas. You're from Jamaica.
Debbie Allen,
Simple.
good to talk to you. Keep
Thank you so very
keep
much
the
for
flag
having me.
flying. All the best to you. We'll talk again.
Happy to see you.
Thank you.
Keep as beautiful
Thank
as
you.
you are.
Lord, listen, you have to be careful of these
Thank you.
middle-aged
Thank you very much.
sweet
Really
boys.
nice having on this chat.
All the best.
All right, take care. Good.
Pearnel Charles. This is the essence of Jamaica, you know, how you
Ronnie,
present yourself.
It bothers me, you know.
What bothers you?
It bothers me because, as I say, the exposure,
Right.
we are losing the best,
Yeah.
and we are not growing more of the best.
So my view is that what we do,
And it, 1 minute, because they're able to get better accommodation, better wage for their service, right? They're free to go. And they will tell you, we can take care of my children better.
Of course.
Take care of my family better.
right, she's being paid in foreign exchange. you know.
Jamaica is losing.
Of course.
So,
then-
but follow you.
Yeah.
We should be remembering what I told you. I went to Canada and see what Mexico is doing
Yeah.
and what the other countries are doing. They are up there seeking jobs, and they say to the country, create more of this.
So, sir.
Because we can do it.
So, sir, what does that mean practically for us on is it the 12th of January, 2022? First of all, the two major areas would be health and education.
Yes.
Yes? So what we need to do is what I would love to hear discussed in our parliament and what we will do in our space right here on the bridge. How could we turn around our foreign exchange position or balance of trade position by intentionally training more and more teachers to go away, gain experience, send back money, bond them in whatever way. Nurses, similarly, other professions as well. Tradespeople. Yes, I met a tradesman yesterday in Hanover who says that what he learned with heart here has made him have a second and a third job in the United States.
You know what has happened to me for the past few weeks right there?
Yes, sir.
I did not know that Hart was such a valuable institution.
Yeah, and it could be
And
even
it's
more
right
so.
across.
Could be
So-
even more so.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
So
we need to concentrate on what makes people better,
Yeah.
make more people are
yeah,
certified to do
quite so.
this and that.
Yeah, huge demand in these areas. I asked her intentionally that question. There are others who are making money off of Jamaica's professionals,
Yes.
who are by recruiting them and arranging them as she spoke. So if we have a little role in suggesting policy, of guiding us, no longer are we going to scorn those people who go away
No,
as being some sort of backsliders. But what we're going to do is to say, let us be intentional in this regard. The Cubans, as you and I were discussing, do it.
that's what saved them.
That's what saved them. That's how they earn their
thousands. And they're loyal to their country.
Sure, and-
Our diaspora people are so loyal
Yes.
that they lose so much in coming here and they still keep sending.
Yes.
They still keep
Sure.
sending.
So-
and I want to congratulate them from right across the
Of
world,
course.
wherever they
That's-
are.
and to link them as we do on the bridge.
Right.
Yes, because the link is Brandon Hill. Yes, the benefit of Brandon Hill.
And the man in Westmoreland,
Precisely.
the man in Manchester.
Absolutely
Right
so.
around it.
Right
Every
around.
parish have.
That is the levity of virtue and of prosperity that is underlying. You don't see it, but it is. But you feel it if it's in those communities. No, if we bring that sense into our policy, into our praxis, for example, of renewing and reviewing education, I'm sure that it's going to be much better.
But Ronnie, somebody is shouting in their room.
Yes, sir.
We're still not satisfying Jamaica with what Jamaica needs to get Jamaicans at a higher
Okay, sir.
standard.
So what I look-
we need not just to look about
No.
Qatar and
No.
America
No.
and this, but Jamaica
Sure, sir.
still have a balance
So what
we need to.
So what I would say is, rather than giving billion dollars to the University of the West Indies, for example, every year, as we do, and various inadequate amounts to others, we say to them, what you know, you coming out of school, right, of Frank Field or Edwin Allen or Alston, wherever you know, Chapelton, Clarendon College, you don't have a career ahead, but you're bright, okay, or you have basic matriculation. We as a country will pay for your education, at least a portion of it. We're going to target you. And if you're a teacher, nurse, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever it is, farmer, for every benefit, there's an obligation. We're going to bond you for 3 years or for 5 years, after which you have a marketable profession that you can take to Qatar or to Canada or to Britain.
But don't we have a bonding policy that don't
Which
work?
doesn't work because we don't want it to work.
No.
No, sir,
What do you mean we don't want it to work?
I'll
Why do we have a policy that
I'll-
says that we don't want it to
I'll
work?
tell you why.
Or
Because
is, let us say, not working or we don't want it to work.
for two reasons.
Yes.
One, because we allow foreign recruiters to come and pay out the bond when it's not the
Okay.
money we want back. It's a
Right.
service. And secondly, because many people who administer the bonds are themselves ideologically confused and they believe that man free and that government is the oppressor and that therefore, you know, for really...
No, pay it back.
No, pay it back.
Wait, Ronnie, what I'm going to agree with you. You cannot get a passport to leave this country unless you make arrangement
For
for the money that you borrow to be educated. Unless you're going on vacation or something
Or
like
to
that.
pay for your picnic support. Yes? Okay.
Ronnie, when you take my money
Yeah.
and train a man,
Yes, sir. Must
and
get
the man
something.
finish his training and say, nah, work for Jamaica.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
How you do that?
Well, exactly. When you hitch on the repayment of your student debt, that
Yes.
should be, the government has done. They've reduced the interest rate. They have lengthened the time of the
Exactly.
moratorium. All good moves. But when you have done that, you have to pay it back.
Well, the payback is still not satisfactory.
Exactly. So, but because
And then we are calling for more training.
yes, sir.
Yet, but we are not able to say, when you use the taxpayer money, the
Right.
poor higgler money,
Right.
the pure farmer money,
Yeah.
the pure teacher who
Sure.
stay,
GCT.
right?
Yeah.
And and those guys get them education and say goodbye,
So-
I gone.
so-
Not only are gone, and I pay back.
No, so therefore moral hazard is to be avoided. And what it means is that you need a discipline, you need an ethic based on certain values,
Yes.
and you need leadership, yes, which is able to say, no, this is the standard, and we're not going to be cruel, but we're going to, there are consequences for your default. And let's wind up the program today coming back to where we started. No government, by whatever party, can impose that without some measure of collaboration and jointure, or it will always be undermined and changed by a succeeding administration.
Let us go back to what the
the
observer has said.
yeah, what a thing. Yeah.
The observer
Observer you
has
get
said
through.
to Charles
Yes.
and the Honorable
Go ahead.
Thwaites, Reverend nice guy, right?
Flattery will
Tell
get
the
him everywhere.
leaders
Yes. Sit down
that
together.
it is time for them to
Yes.
lead.
I will serve the coffee at Vale Royal. if
Well,
they
I
will
will,
only
I will
come.
admire them.
Yes, from afar. Honorable Pearnel Charles, thanks so much for your company this morning and for this week. This is the Early Rise on the Bridge. Thanks to Lafayne. We're glad to have her, Richie, Romy, Audley, everyone who makes this program possible. It's our humble effort to see if we can chart a better course, if we can encourage people more to love the Jamaica, the land that we love.